Hi, welcome to Now It's Legal podcast, and we're here at Ole Miss. We are at the Pavilion. We're here with Cam Brent out of Ole Miss, point guard. Cam,
Yes,
it feels
sir.
so good to be here. Thank you for coming on.
Yo, glad to have you, man. Glad to have you.
Well, you guys got it rolling. You're finishing up your last game of the season. You're rolling into the SEC tournament. You're rolling into March Madness. But Coach Beard, he shifted the culture, and he runs a 6 or 7 option. There's not one huge star. There's got 5 people scoring 10 or more points. You're a senior. You've seen it from beginning to end. How does Chris Beard just lock in and create a culture like this with guys scoring like that?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people look at what we're doing on the court, and, obviously they think that everything has to do with basketball. But, to be completely honest, I think a lot of the success that we're experiencing right now started, the day he got here, like, off the court. Like, even I remember the first phone call I had, and eventually the first meeting I had the first time I went in his office. He was brutally honest with me. He was like, "We need you to be a part of all the solutions here, and none of the problems." So I think that was the first thing, and that he, was honest with guys, letting them know that he was coming here to win, and he wanted to change the culture first off the court, just to be able to change the culture on the court. So I think that was his first step was, making sure that he had the right guys away from the facility, and then going from there. So obviously, if you take care of that part, the other part, it's a whole nother issue. So take care of that, and just the kind of coach he is. He does a good job at building a relationship with his players first, and then try to teach them from there. I feel like that's where he separates himself as a coach. Whereas a lot of people don't realize, might say, man, hey, this team doesn't play hard. Well, a coach has to be able to, identify with his players and connect with them to get that kid to play hard for him. So I feel like he does a good job at that. And, even just looking at the guys, a lot of people see the points. Obviously we had a lot of guys coming out the portal. We don't have many, high school guys, playing heavy minutes for us right now. And so that can be a lot, guys that have scored, 1,000 to 1,500 points coming into one team, and there's only one ball to shoot at on every possession. So, it gets tough. But I feel like he got everybody to buy in there first, and that's why we're having the success that we're having.
It's incredible. You read in an article where he says he made a point to reach out to every single player, whether it was a text or a call or a quick chat, to build trust. Can you reflect on maybe a phone call you've had with Coach Beard that, kind of said, man, this is different. Something special is going to happen here at Ole Miss?
Yeah, no doubt. So that's one thing that I could tell you that is absolutely true. Like, I know people that are a part of other programs, where it makes sense too, because at the end of the day, you got 16, 17 guys or whatever it is on the roster, and so it's a lot as a coach, just to kind of build that connection with each and every one of the guys. But I can honestly say about Coach Beard, one of his big things that he says is no entitlement. And so it just that's the program, and just speaking on the culture, man, just phone calls, texts, Merry Christmas, checking in with the players' parents, no matter if the guy's averaging 15 points a game or if the guy hadn't gotten in 2 months. Like, that's something that Coach Beard does that just really speaks, about his character, that a lot of people may not know about him.
So if you could go back and give young Cam a piece of advice before stepping on the Ole Miss basketball court, before anything at all, what would you tell him?
One piece of advice would probably be just to embrace every single day more. And I'm not saying that I ever took a day for granted, but just, even as this season's winding down, I just find myself every day just waking up appreciating everything more. So that's one thing I would say, just waking up, just being super, super appreciative of just the position that I'm in, and just being around the people that I'm around.
Absolutely. In an article, Coach Beard is listed saying, hey, getting on to you, and then coming right back behind it saying, it's all love, man. Just good old love, Mississippi style.
Yep, no doubt.
Where do you think that he's been able to be so comfortable here at Ole Miss and really make a huge impact on players?
I would say, and that I think this kind of comes back to the relationship part. Like you you see guys being acceptive to the way he's coaching, and it's hard coaching. Like one thing about Coach Beard, like no matter where, I don't care what school you go to, like you're not gonna find a coach that's gonna be on you harder than he is. But it goes back to the front end part where I talked about how he built that relationship. Like whether what is one thing he does, he spends a lot of time in the summertime building those relationships, and I feel like he puts himself in position to be able to coach guys hard in November through all the way up through March and April. Just because he has a good relationship with the guys. So I think that relationship piece is a key to where he can get on a guy and then it's right back to it. It's all love. Like he said.
Yeah, it's coming from the best spot possible.
Right.
So, what was the most unexpected? One of the most unexpected plays or happenings during the season that made you say, "This team's a little bit different" during the season?
One play that I could probably think back to, probably the Alabama game, and there's a couple more plays before that in some games that stand out. I could talk about the BYU game, that trip, just how guys like Jamin Brakefield stepped up and played, and came in off the bench, and a lot of people may not know this, but Jamin Brakefield, he's been starting since he's got here in Ole Miss, but he decided himself to come off the bench this year, just for the success of our team, and so that was probably a moment other than a play where I knew that this team was going to be special. That, and then at the game at Alabama was a game that I knew that we had something cooking this year.
Wow. So Brakefield starting all the whole time he's been here, and he says, you know what, this is what's best for the team, and he's still dominating and doing things in just the fashion that people know him to be. So when you're traveling on the road, what is one of the toughest crowds that you've had to play in front of? And what is one teammate who feeds off of that energy the most?
I would say the toughest environment to me would be Auburn. The jungle is pretty tough place to play. Just the fans, the atmosphere. We've played down there all 3 years I've been here, and every time it was the same. Obviously, they've been the number one team in the country this year for a majority of the season. But even last year, when they weren't specifically number one, the environment was still the same. Like we get to the arena 2 hours before the game, and we come out and the student section is already packed, and they're sitting there waiting on you to come out, and they're letting you hear it too. So that Auburn would probably be the place that I would say probably the toughest environment. And one teammate I would say that kind of tries to embrace that environment will probably be Malik Dia. He kind of feeds off, and it gets him, it kind of gets him going at times, realizing the moment that he's in.
Absolutely. So Cam, you're a Mississippi native, born and raised here. Now you're a senior. What is, one thing that's different about playing for your home state, growing up as a fan, growing up in this culture, and then now you're here. You're traveling with the team. You're just completely involved with it.
So one thing that's special to me, and really the reason I came here, is just like the people around, like the community and the school, like even the students. Like a lot of people don't get that in a lot of places. So that's one thing that really means a lot to me. And I just think, it's just Southern hospitality. Like SEC is different, Mississippi's different, and then Oxford is just different. Like the people in it, whether it's around this basketball community, the fans that come to the game, or even like anytime I go to the square, like people are always talking to me or asking about the team, or just always it's been nothing but like complete support, like every single day when I'm out in public. And that's one thing that like really makes me feel good, and just knows that like this is really a place you can call home.
I love that. Can you give me a moment, home or away, where Ole Miss fans' interaction is kind of like, oh man, this is crazy?
Well, I'll say one, and this isn't even just like a specific moment, but like man, anytime one thing that really kind of means a lot to me, man, anytime we get a lead, I don't care if it's 15 points, 20 points, man, this place goes crazy, like with the "We Want Cam" chant. So that's one thing that's really been nice to be a part of and be an experience, just like hearing this whole place explode, like chant my name to get in the game. So that, and it's been like that since every year I've been here. So that's something that really kind of stood out to me.
Incredible. What is one thing that let me make sure I get this question right.
Yeah.
What's one thing that fans don't see that what it's like to play at this level? What's the grind that they don't see?
I'd say the grind that they don't see is just everything in between. Like Coach Beard, his another one of his things that he says is just get lost in the work, and that's kind of the thing you have to do when you're playing at this level, because I feel like a lot of people probably can get lost in the other stuff, like whether it's just attention or now we have NIL or any other thing that don't have to do with basketball. Like I'd say just he does a good job of constantly reminding people to stay lost in the work, man. Everything else takes care of itself. So
it seems like Coach Beard has a lot of one-liners, a little go-to things.
he's a one-line guy.
He's a one-line guy, but got a couple lines to follow up after that. What's another Coach Beard saying or a Coach Beard mentality or, oh my gosh, he's gonna say this if y'all do this?
Yeah. So man, Coach, man. So and one thing about our facility, like if you come in our practice facility, he's got stuff like all over the walls, all over the locker room. So he's a big, like, line guy, like you say. So his big thing that he says is 4-to-1, which kind of means, mental is to physical as 4 is to 1. That's kind of a ratio thing that he kind of puts into perspective. So anytime, players are going through a tough moment, whether it's in the weight room or in practice, our strength and conditioning program is elite, both in the off season and during the season. So, anytime a player kind of, feels like they're going in a dark place, he just 4-to-1. So you just always kind of remember that, and he's constantly reminding people that he always says the secret's in the dirt. So like that speaks for itself. Like everything you want is in the nasty is basically what he's trying to say.
Incredible. So what's one thing Coach Beard yells at you about that you're still trying to get right, or maybe somebody else?
Well, and a lot of my teammates tell me too. Like they always say, "Man, I never see Coach Beard get mad at you." So I'm kind of one of those guys that Coach Beard don't get mad at me too much. So one thing that I say that he probably, and I'm really appreciative of him doing this, but like he's a big guy on competitiveness. Like I never understood how much that word, like how important that word was until I got in his program. Like just being competitive, whether it's like, man, it don't matter if it's, I don't know. Yeah, it can be anything, man. We compete on any single thing. Like he's always finding something to compete about.
Pretty hard.
Like, yeah, the practices are pretty tough. They're pretty intense. Obviously, he's a defensive guy, so we do a lot of things that pertain to the defensive side of things. Whereas you might go to a lot of people's practice, and it's a lot offense oriented. So yeah, a lot of defense, a lot of pretty intense, but it all comes back to the same thing, which is competition, like mano competition. So that he feels like if he prepares you to do well under competition, like the rest just take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, like that's all the game is. The basketball game is gonna come back to who wants it more. So
absolutely. What's been one of the favorite? Obviously, you're competing against top SEC teams. You guys are winning a lot of those. What's a player that you found that you just like to watch play or really enjoyed how they approach the game on another team?
Right. One player that I kind of really, and it's not just because he's small either. One player I like their approach is Zakai Ziegler from Tennessee. I've been watching him he's been at Tennessee 4 years. So I've been, even when I was in high school for a couple years and he was already in college, I was kind of watching him. But just like his demeanor, and he seems like he's a pretty competitive person.
What team?
Tennessee, Zakai Ziegler, the point guard. So I feel like he's one guy that I would probably look up and I'd say, man, I got utmost respect for that dude, just as a competitor, and he's got a lot of game too.
He's locked in.
Yep.
That Tennessee game.
Yeah, and we just beat him, so that was pretty nice to see.
By 2.
Yep.
Can you walk me through that game, or any game where that what does pregame look like for you, or the whole team?
Yeah.
And then how does it kind of transition in?
Yep. So this game is actually different. So that game was a little bit more emotional for everybody too because it was senior night. So I feel like we did a good job at getting emotionally attached to the game. The seniors knew what was on the line. Obviously, coming up with that win could potentially help our seeding heading into March Madness too. So just the emotions of March and senior night, I feel like the players did a good job at being ready to play that game in particular. And warm-ups were pretty serious. Wasn't a lot of looseness. A lot of guys were pretty locked in. You can always look in a guy's eye and tell what type of time they're on that day. So pretty much could see it in everybody's eyes, whether they was in stretches or layup lines. Just kind of where we were headed that night.
Gotcha. When you're warming up and you're seeing players kind of lock in, what's one superstition or pregame ritual that you see the players doing, or maybe a specific guy at Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing where you're like, that's kind of weird, but it works?
Yeah, so all right, big coach is actually kind of a superstitious guy, but we don't have too much like superstition going on. But we do have a couple of things we do, like kind of the guys at the end of the bench. If we're losing, we'll switch up the rotation, like who's sitting who, or like we'll switch up the seats. So that's kind of one superstitious thing that we kind of change up, whether based on how the game is going. And then I'll also do a thing too, like if we go a couple games and we winning, I'll pay attention to like whether I have my jersey tucked in or not. So that's kind of another thing that I pay attention to.
You start picking it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to quote Jalen Murray, so I'm going to bring my phone up so I do this right. So Jalen Murray, he tells us, don't hog it, find the open guy. Some nights it's me, sometimes it's Matt or Sean. That's why teams can't scout us easy.
Right.
I think scouting going into the March Madness tournament, going into the SEC tournament, it's so big because there's so much film to look at. So there's no secret on who's good, who's bad, who's indifferent.
Exactly.
It's really like, okay, our IQ needs to be on point. How do you attack the game when there's so much film out there so you can scout the team really well?
Yep.
But teams like you, everybody who's touching the rock, everybody is kind of going in just very team-oriented. How do you do that?
Right. I think that's kind of when it gets down to this point in the season, everybody's been scouted. Everybody knows, everybody's familiar, especially going into the SEC tournament, like having played each other, whether it's once or twice already. Everybody knows everybody. So it just comes down to, preparation still. Both teams are obviously going to prepare for each other. But I feel like that, me personally, I feel like it comes down to, who not only plays the hardest, but who's able just to, simply come out and execute the best. Like Coach is always saying, the team with the fewer mistakes is going to win, because obviously this is the SEC. Both teams are going to play hard. You're not going to go out there and say, man, that team won because they played hard or not. Both teams are going to play hard, but the team with the fewer mistakes is probably going to be the team that is going to favor down the line.
Sure, the simple turnovers.
Turnovers.
The lackadaisical or taking a play off.
Yep, plays off, block out, stuff like that.
Those really start to really add up.
Yep.
So in the era of NIL, name, image, likeness, you're on the NIL podcast. How are you able to, or how does Coach Beard manage how NIL is so competitive in the transfer portal and, managing egos?
I would say, Coach, and I don't know, I really don't know how he does it, but there's not too much ego in our program. And maybe that just has something to do with all the stuff all the team activities that we participate in the summertime, just getting to know each other. But Coach does a good job at guys, honestly, every guy on this roster has simply just shedded their ego. There is no ego almost. Everybody just wants to see the next man be genuinely successful. And you can tell when somebody makes a good play, we have this thing called UNC point, where if a guy passes you the ball or if a guy sets an assist screen to get you open to, you might be the guy that scored that point, but just simple things like requiring that guy to thank the guy that got him open or thank the guy that passed him the ball, just
spacing.
Yeah, stuff like that just kind of, weeds the ego guys out of there. So
absolutely. So I was able to go to Rebel Rags, and we're talking about NIL, and we went back and we saw the NIL jerseys.
Yep.
I was actually able to pick one up with your name on it.
Right.
Do you get a cut? at the end of the season when
Yes,
how does that
sir.
work?
Yeah, jersey sales. I do get a cut of the jersey sales and things like that. And I have a lot of, I've been blessed to, work with a lot of like even just brands or companies just because like, obviously being the shortest guy in college basketball, period. Like
Are
a
you
lot.
the shortest guy in the SEC?
I ain't gonna lie, I might be the shortest guy to ever be in the SEC probably. I'd have to fact check that, but I probably will be. But
Your
Cause,
license plate.
Cause Muggsy Bogues went to Wake Forest, I think, right? So
Yeah.
that's ACC. But and a lot of people actually don't know this. I list myself as 5'4" on the roster, but I'm actually like 5'2" or 5'3". So
No shot.
yeah.
Wow, you're like Kevin Durant, but the opposite. Like
Yeah.
Kevin Durant is like he's 7 feet. He's
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm 6'9", 6'10", so he didn't get moved down to the center spot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, now obviously just having that tag. Obviously I have a lot of following, big following on Instagram and stuff, other social media outlets. So a lot of people have reached out to me, and I've done a lot of collaborations. I did some things with the WWE that I was able to earn a good amount of money on, and just other promotions and stuff.
What's some other brands that you've been able to work with? WWE and then what?
WWE, and man, it's been a lot of like skincare products and stuff. Like I forget the names of them, no disrespect to them, but stuff like that. And then obviously the jersey sales. I had some T-shirts and stuff I did some collaborations with before, so just different stuff like that.
I say NIL brings real life into college sports because you have opportunity, and then you have where you can go somewhere else, but the opportunity may not be as big. Or
Right.
you take a chance anytime you move anywhere.
Right.
Whether you're moving in basketball, or you move in houses. Where do you find NIL has helped the most at Ole Miss?
I would say it has helped the most as far as just like rewarding guys for the amount of work that they put in. Like just the amount of work that these guys, like that everybody just comes in and just works every day, whether it's coming in the morning, lifting weights, going into practice after that, and then getting a little rest in between, whether it's to knock out some academics. But no one's just, and the day doesn't just end there. We're coming back for meetings, whether you have to watch film with the coach, or just come back to get some shots up, just to stay on top of your, keep your game sharp. So just the amount of the workload that guys are putting in, and it allows people to take care of their family. Like my teammate right now, Jamin Brakefield, is I don't know if you've seen, but he's getting a lot of media attention right now because of how he's utilizing his NIL.
How is he utilizing it?
So he actually one of his it's almost like his little brother. So Jamin actually went to a prep school. He's from Jackson, Mississippi, where I'm from, but he went to a prep school called Huntington Prep to finish up his last 2 years or 3 years in high school.
Sure.
And while he was down there, he just met a kid down there and grew close to him. His name's Brandon. So Brandon actually is he's 16 or 17 now, but a kid that might not come from the best situation. Jamin actually utilized his NIL to move him from West Virginia, and he lives with them now. So he's utilizing that to take care of someone that he cares about and looks like as a little brother. And whether it's and it's a full-time thing too, like taking them to school, managing basketball. He's doing all this while managing basketball too. So taking them to school, obviously taking him into his house.
Wow.
Taking care of him, just whatever he needs, man. He really loves them. So that's probably been the best thing I've ever seen as far as someone utilizing their NIL.
Wow, that's incredible. That really is. I think that I can play devil's advocate and say NIL is bad. It's ruining college sports. It's not what it used to be. It's ruining the system. But stuff like that makes you take a pause and say, you know what? You can do something really phenomenal with something that could be bad. I think you can find the bad in anything if you want to.
Yep, no doubt.
I can find the bad at Ole Miss basketball.
You can find the good and bad in any situation, man. But it's just all about what you want to put your focus into.
No, for sure. So we're gonna bring on your jersey here.
Okay.
And I want you to sign it, and we'll get it on film, and we'll go from there. Do we have the marker and everything here? Oh, there it is. All right. Here, I'm gonna put this down real quick. Is that cool?
All right, cool.
I'll pick it back up whenever we start to sign it.
If you want to just show the camera.
Yeah. We got great editors. Great editors. Here you go. All right, so this is the NIL jersey. Are we able to see this? This looks good right here. Right here. Wow. And just think about it. 5 years ago, you couldn't do this.
Couldn't do it.
And now a guy like you who's just so deserving of this, you want to sign it on the front? What you want to do? Do you want to do it on yours?
What's a good spot? Maybe right here.
Yeah, I want it to be big.
Okay.
I want it to be like huge.
No, it's putting a little 55 right.
You got to.
Grab the mic after that.
Yeah. Sorry. All right.
Do you want to show the jersey?
Yeah. If you want to let's put the date. Let's put the date here. I think that's March 9th, 2025.
Never forget it.
Yeah, right here.
You want to go that way?
Yeah, it's cool.
March 9th.
Mm-hmm. Done deal. We got it there. We got it going. If you want to bring your mic up real quick, we'll show it off here. Cam. Oh. How sick is that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The GOAT. The GOAT. So dope, man.
Yep, no doubt.
It's so awesome. Here you go, Anthony. All right, so let me pick my mic up.
Let's do it.
So I went around. We got to Ole Miss yesterday. I went around the square and I went around campus and I was asking Ole Miss students what was one thing you would want to ask Ole Miss basketball team.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to quote them. Let's do it. Here we go. This is from Hayden Hammett. Cam, you've been here when we won 1 or 2 SEC games in a season. Now you have a student stay in line days in advance just to get into the game. You've been able to see the dark to the golden age of Ole Miss basketball.
Right.
What's it like to see the revival?
Man, it's a feeling that I honestly can't even describe. Even like everybody else on the roster too would probably attest to this. But like, and even guys that were here before, like just coming to the games when there's hardly anybody in the stands, like to coming in games like the other night versus Tennessee, and there's not a seat available. And even with the student section, like how I was telling you before, how the student section was increased, like they had to shut off they had to shut off the lower deck for general admission just to allow more students to get in, which is just speaks for the volume of where the program is headed. So just the feeling and the excitement around the program, being here when we weren't winning versus when we were winning, just winning is the key to everything.
It's a formula.
Yeah, winning fixes everything. So like obviously, man, just the excitement about it, and it's just something that it's a feeling that you can't even describe.
Absolutely. What was your expectation going into this season?
Man, my expectation was, win a national championship. Like, and that was one thing. Like, and Coach Beard, like, he always says, like, we didn't come here. Like, I know a lot of people around Oxford are just happy with us making the tournament or just having a good 20-win season, which is nothing wrong with that. It's something. I think we're the 10th team that will about to make the tournament, but we'll be the 10th team in Ole Miss history to ever make it. So that's something that obviously will mean a lot to people. But Coach Beard is constantly reminding us, like, your story's not over. Like, how about let's make a Sweet 16 run, or how about let's keep building. So he's just constantly reminding people never to settle, and just keep working, man. Like Coach, we have things in the locker room. You can't say you really believe in something if you don't really believe in it, man. Like we have things in the locker room that allude to San Antonio, which is where the Monday night game will be this year. So, like, all year we've been walking through the locker room, seeing things about San Antonio. So, just starting to get people to believe in their mind first is something that's, I think, really important.
Absolutely. So we're actually looking up in the rafters. You said Sweet 16.
Yep.
You see 1992, 2007, and then 2023.
What's that? That's women's.
That's women's.
Yeah, that's women's.
That is women. So, and then the Sweet 16 in 2001, is that men's?
That is men's. My dad was assistant coach that year, so that's a fun little fact.
Wow. So in 2001.
I think that's the farthest. I don't want to be wrong, but that might be the farthest that Ole Miss team has gone, was that Sweet 16.
That's incredible. So is your dad 5'11"? 5'4"?
Nah, my dad's like 6'2".
How tall is mom?
My mom's probably like 4'11",
Okay,
5 feet.
there
So
we
yeah, I
go.
definitely get my height from my mom.
Absolutely, yeah. But just even bigger heart. I'm gonna roll on to the next question from the Ole Miss fans. Let's pick one. So this is from Brian Marr. What is the one thing? What is the one thing defining characteristic going into the tournament that is going to take you over the edge?
I think the one defining characteristic that could take us over the edge, I would say that we're gonna be a team. If we're gonna make a run, we're gonna hang our hat on our mental toughness. Like that's one thing that stood out. The games that we've played our best in this year, we were the tougher team, whether it was mentally or physically. So that's one thing I would say. If something's gonna take us, it's not gonna be our shot making. It's not gonna be our offense. It's not gonna be our whatever. It's gonna be I would say our mental toughness and our togetherness.
I like that. So this one's coming from Sarah Addison. What is your favorite meal before a game, or maybe even after a game?
I'm not a big I don't like to eat a whole lot on game day. Just because it's like, I don't know. It's something about like when there's something you're like getting excited for, you just
The appetite's going.
yeah, there's no real appetite. But I usually people make fun of me for this, but I eat rice, just like plain rice on game day, just straight rice.
Straight
like
rice.
just a plate of straight rice. That's it.
Like wild rice or just
like white
jasmine?
rice,
Like
jasmine rice. I eat a plate of just straight jasmine rice, and that's all I eat that day.
I can totally get that. Is there one guy who's like smashing like pizzas or wings before the game?
No, nobody, and that might be because they don't allow that, but that's that. But Coach Beard, he eats Lucky Charms before every game, so that's something that's pretty cool.
Cool. So, what is the biggest issue you see with the Ole Miss basketball, and how does improvement go from here on out? This is from a fan.
Okay, I would say our biggest issue last year and this year has been our rebounding. So that's one thing that moving forward, Ole Miss basketball should probably fix fix the rebounding, because that's been our weak spot for 2 years. So rebounding.
That makes sense. So this one's from Daniel Walters. What has Coach Beard done differently that has allowed you to beat 2 top 5 teams?
I would say first he got us to believe we could win the game. Just like even like on the game day shoot around, he was telling guys like when we played Alabama and Tennessee, he was telling, guys like Matt Murrell, Jamin Brakefield, he was telling them like constantly remind them like, hey, I don't remember their exact record, but he was like, man, you're 1-4 versus Bama, or hey, you never beat Tennessee. So he's like, hey, it's time to beat Bama, it's time to beat Tennessee. So I think connecting with guys, just having them realize, hey man, you're right, like, man, I would hate to leave Ole Miss without ever beating this team. So I would say that's one thing he's done differently, just reminding guys, you don't want to leave this place without, ever having a chance to beat that team.
I love that. You just got to love the interconnected competitiveness.
It comes back to that competitiveness.
Wants to pull from you.
Yep.
Like you weren't even thinking about, man, I'm 1-4 against Bama.
Yep.
But now that's all you can think about. Barely go to sleep about it.
Yep.
With the game coming up.
No doubt.
Do you think he does that on purpose?
I think he does, but I wouldn't even say it's on purpose. Like,
yeah.
If you just look at Coach Beard, man, look at everywhere he's been. Like, he's just a winner. So I wouldn't even say it's on purpose. That's just instinct. Like, the guy knows how to win. He knows what he's done.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Anything funny that Coach Beard said during like a film session?
I ain't gonna lie, he say funny stuff every day. Like, he's one of the funnier people that I know, and like he's probably the first coach I've ever had where like he'll FaceTime me and crack some jokes and just hang up. So like just that genuine connection, like his genuineness is unmatched. But like, man, he says so much wild and funny stuff that like I couldn't even like remember anything specific.
Yeah.
But like, man, he's always a guy, man, just man, Coach Beard, he's one of a kind, man. He's a character.
Yeah, and Coach Beard just seems like he's just really got his hands around Mississippi.
Yep, no doubt.
This one comes from Kendall Wilson. Who has the most swag/aura on the team besides you, Cam?
Yeah, at first I'd say me. Other than me, I'd probably go. I probably go Jamin Brakefield. He got pretty good aura about himself because just because I say like he's into different kinds of music. Like he's into like he'll listen to like some gospel music. He'll listen to rap music. Well, he'll listen to other stuff too, like older, like
some soul.
Yeah, like some soul
Like
music
that.
too, or like he'll have like a highlight reel and put like some music that you wouldn't normally see on a highlight reel. So I would say he would probably have the most aura out of on the team.
Absolutely. If you guys were gonna have a 3-point contest, who's winning it and who's kind of battling it out?
Well, coming back to Coach Beard competitiveness, we usually have a 3-point contest, a couple times a week. So there's some different winners.
Have you ever won the 3-point contest?
I actually have not, so it's not me. I'm not the best 3-point shooter on the team. But I would probably say if I'm gonna just pick a winner out of the 3-point, you see Matt Morrell winning a lot. Jamin Brayfield's won a lot recently. His confidence is high right now heading into March, having some good games.
You need to.
But honestly, pure shooters on this team though, there's not too many. And I'm gonna say this too, man. It's not too many. And a lot of people don't know this kid yet just because he's redshirting. Right now, he's a walk-on. I don't anticipate him to honestly be a walk-on too much longer. But he's a kid named Zach Day from Dallas.
All right.
He went to something Christian. I forget what it is.
TCU?
Nah. He's a freshman this year. So it was,
okay.
I forget the name, but
it's not really Christian.
Yeah,
Prep or
something Christian. He's a Dallas kid though, but he's a walk-on this year. But man, he's probably. Man, honestly, in my opinion, he's one of the better shooters in the country. But the people just haven't gotten a chance to see him yet. But I think he'll have the chance to prove it. Before he graduates college.
Incredible. We got a sleeper on the team.
Yeah, Zach Day, man. Remember I told y'all about Zach Day.
Zach Day, book it. This one is coming from TJ Hanna. What was the biggest challenge in the beginning of the season, and what has changed, and what are you challenged with going into the tournaments?
Okay. About right here? Right there. Okay. One of the biggest challenges, I would say, at the beginning of the season would probably just be the chemistry part, and there's no way to speed that up.
There's no expediting of chemistry. That's
the chemistry just is one of those things that it comes with time. And so as over time, I think our chemistry got a lot better, which is why we were able to win some games, some really, really good games in the SEC. So just that chemistry aspect was something that was, early on we were like, man, we got to gel and mesh together and build this chemistry. And so I would say that was one thing that, and we attacked it, whether it was, on court activities, trying to, bring our group closer together, or just simple things off the court like bowling competitions and paintball competitions on the weekend that help build our chemistry too. So,
what's one of your favorite guys to kind of hang out with? Like, obviously, you hang out with all of them.
Yeah, I hang out with all my teammates, but I'd say probably one of the guys that I enjoy being around the most is probably Robert Cowherd, just because his energy. He's funny too, so I like to laugh a lot, joke around a lot. So he's somebody that's always, even if it's a serious moment, you're like, hey, come on, man. Like if I look over there at Rob, I can depend on him giving me that look, and we like, come on, man. So that's him and my teammate Juju Murray. He's another guy. Like he's been my roommate all this year. On the road, so I've really enjoyed, spending time with him and, building our bond and stuff like that.
For sure. It seems like the team chemistry is just very intertwined, and the success is happening on and off the court.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Is there any pregame song that you gotta hear before you step on the court, or whenever you guys are warming up and you guys are like, oh, bro, this song is it. Let's put that song on. Make sure to play that song.
I would say there's no particular song because obviously, the season's long, 5 months or whatever. So there's no one song that just carries us through the season. But I would say an artist that kind of, that go-to artist, and he might not even be specifically anybody's favorite artist, but like when we're in that locker room, Boss Man D-Lo turns the locker room up. So I would say Boss Man D-Lo as far as any one of his popular songs, kind of get that vibe going in the locker room and kind of get everybody in that mode ready to play.
Oh, for sure. So this one, I was talking with some students, and maybe you know about it, maybe you don't. Somebody owned a dog, Lola. Does that sound familiar?
Lola.
The dog.
I don't
all?
know Lola.
No. So these people were telling me
Okay.
that the team would travel a bunch,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would walk into like another house next door,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Hey, we're leaving for Florida today. Can you help out the dog?" And
Mm-hmm.
they would kind of help out with the dog. Is that ring a
Nah,
bell, bro?
I don't know about Lola.
I mean, you never know. I had to try. I was like, I'll ask him, but hey, I tried. I tried.
I don't know about Lola.
Let me switch over and talk about mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
What's the toughest practice Coach Beard has put you through? Maybe it was after a loss. Seems like Coach Beard after a loss would be somebody that you want to deal with.
Yeah, I would say there's no specific practice. That was just, man, that was tough. Like, obviously, practices after a loss are tougher than ones. When we might be on a winning streak or whatever. But there's never any practices that are just easy. Like we come in ready to work.
Right, everybody's
we bring
has a sweat.
we bring our hard hat every day. But one moment that I would say, man, this is tough was a summertime moment. So a part of our routine or our process, we condition in the summer. So we had one morning, we're up early in the morning getting ready for conditioning and weights. And man, we're at the baseball field.
Hot.
And it's early in the morning. It's probably about 5 or 6, so
Okay.
it's not too hot. But
You're
man,
good.
we're at the baseball field, and I never realized how like wide that baseball fields are around. And so we're going through this like boot camp like circuit, and we're out there working. Everybody's working, and we get to the last segment, and it's like we have to run. He has these cones set up, so one cone's down here, and the other cone's like way over there at the back. And man, we're just running. And man, everybody's just like, man, but that's probably a moment that probably everybody say, man, that was if that was a day, that was it right there.
Running around on the
Yeah,
baseball
man,
field.
I don't even remember. I just remember going home, just laying on the couch, man, just like after that. So that was probably a day. That was the day right there.
Do you ever thank God that you have a game that is taking place inside? Like the
Yeah, that's why I
basketball
quit football. That's the real reason why I quit. I played football. I quit football in like 7th grade or 6th grade, and the reason was just because I didn't like summertime. It was too hot. Wintertime, it got too cold, so I was like, I'm just gonna play something inside. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that.
That's genius. That's genius. I mean, me too. Big basketball fan.
Yeah.
And when I'm reporting basketball, I don't really have to worry about
Yep.
what the weather is.
No doubt.
Just getting from A to B to get inside.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably that was the reason I quit football actually.
Yeah. So if you guys are playing video games, you're chilling in the lounge room, or you're just being competitive in another space, who's the biggest crash out on the team? Who's gonna crash out and let you know, like,
Yeah.
no, run that back?
When I think about competitiveness as far as games, I would probably say, okay, so we have a pool table in the lounge, and it's played on daily. So Sean Padula and Eduardo Klafke, one of our freshman contributors, they're and they're playing it every day, and it gets intense. So like, that's probably two people that I see crashing out over pool every day. And then video game wise, I probably go like Malik D. I could see Malik probably be crashing
Malik,
out
like,
over a game.
breaks controllers or
Yeah,
what?
he probably play 2K or Fortnite and be breaking his controller and stuff.
When you guys are playing with you don't, I mean, you have a college football game, and now they're speculating that you might get a college basketball game.
Right.
That's pretty cool. When you guys are playing, Fortnite or 2K or whatever, what teams are people picking? Do you see anybody like knowing a playbook like weirdly well? Or
Yeah, so we got a lot. I mean, last year's team I would say had a lot more 2K players than this year's team. But yeah, as far as like, so a lot of our team plays a lot of NCAA football. So a lot of teams that I see commonly getting used is Oregon, and Ole Miss. People actually use our own team a lot.
Jackson Dart's
so,
not
yeah,
too bad to have.
Yeah, Dart's not bad. So then you throw in the Trey Harris and guys like that. So yeah, we CFB probably the game that's played the most within the team, and
Yeah.
Oregon, Ole Miss, and probably Bama probably the teams. I'm more of a Colorado guy.
Heck
Shout out
yeah.
to, I got a little backstory about that. So my senior year, my
In high school.
my high school senior night, I had played some pickup at the time. You know, Shador and Travis were at Jackson State, so I played some pickup with them at the rec center before, and you know, kind of played with them, built a relationship. And then like 2 nights before my senior night, Shador DM'd me randomly. It was like, "Yo, what's your number, bro? Like, we're gonna pull up to the game." So I'll try to find you the picture too, so you can show it. So that was actually, uh, you know, something that meant a lot to me. Them pulling up to my game, my senior night, and you know, obviously having a good game. We went on to win the state championship like 2 weeks later.
Cool.
You know, he posted on this story. You know, ran it up like that. So that's probably why, you know, Colorado's one of my teams that I like. So I support Shador and Trey. I think that should be the first pick and the second pick in this year's draft. So
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. I'll be in Colorado next month doing with Colorado and DJ. This should be a really special event. But you got, so Shador DM'd you first?
Yeah. That's what's crazy,
Bro,
right?
what?
That's what's crazy, right? But yeah, and what's crazy, like, man, I show so much support to them. Like, I don't really talk to them much now. You know, obviously they got a lot going on, but like, man, I'm their biggest supporters now. Like, even at Jackson State, man, like he's one of my favorite quarterbacks. You know, I hope he goes to the NFL. You know, I believe him and Travis will go to the NFL and take over. So those will be two. Those will probably, once they're in the league and they get drafted here in a couple of weeks, those will immediately be my 2 favorite players in the NFL, Shador and Travis.
Though wherever they go, you're gonna probably buy that jersey and
Yeah,
just like I did.
I got
with you.
Colorado jerseys at home. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Can you do you hang out with other athletes outside basketball, or are you mostly sticking?
Yeah,
to,
so I'm actually a big football fan in general too. So you know, I'm tight with a lot of you know, football players here at Ole Miss. A lot of those guys are my guys.
like.
Well, actually, my roommate plays football. He just entered the transfer portal, but he was a running back here last year, Matt Jones. So he's actually my roommate since, for 3 years I've been here. So I've always stayed with football players, been around a lot of football players. Micah Pettis is another guy that I'm really tight with. He actually just transferred to Florida State, so he'll do his grad year there. And never really got the chance. I've met Dart a few times, but no real relationship. But Austin Simmons is a guy that I have a genuine relationship with. He's a pretty cool guy. I've gotten to talk to him a couple times. So
For sure.
you know, I think he'll have a chance to be a Heisman winner. You know, and you know, as he grows in 2 or 3 years or whatever.
Absolutely. Ever talked to Lane Kiffin?
I've never talked to Lane Kiffin before.
He seems like a character.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool guy. You know, I keep up with him on Twitter.
He has
so.
crazy. Yeah, his Twitter aura is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude.
He seems like a pretty fun coach to play for though.
Oh yeah, that's like
Yeah.
a coach. I'd be like, yeah, I'm down to play for him. Like, is there any like nicknames or inside jokes that maybe nobody else would know about, but the team does?
Well, obviously my nickname is Muggs, which comes from Muggsy Bogues. Coach Beard gave me that name.
Your license plate says
Yeah, and
Muggs.
I got it on my license plate now. So, you know, a lot of
So
people around here know me. You know, all they know is Muggs. So that. But yeah, we don't really have too many other you know, nicknames. I'm trying to think of one. Yeah, not obviously. Well, I think probably the best, and people don't even know this. They probably just assume it's his real name. But you know, Juju's real name is Jalen Murray, so I think Juju's a pretty cool nickname.
Nah, Juju is
Yeah.
probably Juju on the beat.
Yeah, Juju on that beat. Jamin, nobody really calls Jamin on our team. Nobody calls him Jamin. We all call him J Break. So
J Break.
yeah, that's pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah,
J Break. I like that.
yep.
Muggsy, J Break, all of it, man.
Yeah, we got some pretty good names.
What's something about the team that nobody would know about? Like you'd be breaking news right now.
Something about the team that not many people know about is nah, that's a tough one. I feel like I feel like everybody knows everything
Yeah.
about us. But man, something that people don't know about us, I would say just our off the court relationships. Like
Yeah, just
I would-
speaking to it.
Okay, I would say our off the court relationships. Just like I don't know if people know how tight, like how genuinely tight that everyone is off the court. Like whether it's a senior that's been in college 5 years and a freshman that's been in college for a couple months. Like everybody pretty much hangs out with everybody, or like, you know, we all do a good job at say, man, hey, I might not have a good relationship with this freshman on the team. Hey man, let's go get some lunch and just catch up and
Got you.
just talk. So I feel like just that's something that you don't
Just
see.
how really tight.
Yeah, like you don't see that on a lot of times. Even on teams I've been a part of in the past, like you don't really
Get
see. Even everybody loves each other, but you don't really just see that too much.
Got you. Who's the best trash talker on the team?
The best trash talker on the team. He don't. All right, so our team we don't have like a big trash talking team. Everybody just kind of let that game speak for itself. But I would say one person when they start talking and chirping that I like to see will probably be Jamin Brakefield. I like to see him chirp a lot, and then things get pretty exciting when once Sean Padula's in that mode where he kind of
He's like,
yeah, when he gets in that mode, that's a different side of him that's pretty exciting to watch too. So yeah, it's probably Jamin and Sean will probably be the trash talkers.
oh, for sure. Who's the worst? I mean, I guess
Worst
it's not
trash.
a worst trash talker, just like unorthodox cursing, I guess. But.
Yeah, I'm gonna see worst trash. I'm gonna go John Bowl. Just because, and it's funny, like, so John Bowl will try to talk sometimes, but it'll always be like it'll be kind of funny just because of his personality. Like he's such a good dude. Like, it's just funny when he starts getting in that mode and he wants to talk trash. It's kind of funny.
Everybody kind of looks around like, oh, this dude's going.
Yeah, he's going today.
I love that. Who's like the most secretly athletic guy on the team and possibly could go pro in another sport?
Secretly athletic on the team, possibly go pro in another sport.
Besides
I'm gonna
you, of
go.
course, Cam.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna do a wild card. I'm gonna go with Davon Barnes just because like I feel like he got good instincts. Like you might could find a position for him on the football field.
Gotcha.
Or even another guy, one of our big men, Javon Benson.
How tall is Javon Benson?
Javon Benson's about 6'8". He's a real stocky guy. So I think you could find somewhere for him on the football field.
For sure.
Yeah, and he's really athletic and he moves well. So he's got big hands too. So I think
yeah.
he could probably, if somebody was gonna go play football, I'd probably throw him out there.
Oh man, the football is just it's such a physical sport. No, it's not for me. Let me see here. Who are you not handing the aux cord to? Like, this guy is not touching the aux cord.
Not getting the aux.
Or I can paraphrase and say, who are you immediately giving the aux cord to?
Me. I feel like I'm like the music. Like music, even if you pay attention to my Instagram page, like every single post I have is some kind of music, attached to it. So I'm a big music guy. A couple other guys got some similar taste in music, but probably somebody that I feel like I wouldn't get a mic to would probably be Max Smith. I feel like he probably play like country or something. But I like country music. I switch it up. Like I'm a big sauna guy. So when I go to the sauna and I'm in that extreme heat like that, I don't oftentimes play I try to play some different music, whether it's like I actually went this morning and it's Sunday, so I was on like a church music type vibe in the sauna while I'm getting that sweat in. Or, if I go do hot yoga or something one day, it'll be like not just hardcore rap. It'll be like maybe kind of something with a better, smoother vibe.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'll do some country. Like I like Morgan Wallen. Stuff like that, but
gotta love it.
Yeah, not too much though.
Yeah, I mean, you're from Mississippi, man.
Yeah.
How can you not like country music? But I
Seven
get it.
Summers is my favorite Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. You talked about a lot of faith and even said church music. How has faith played a part in this journey for you, Cam?
And I feel like Beard did a good job with this too. He constantly reminds us like basketball is our life, obviously, but he reminds us that things should be in this order, which is faith, family, and then basketball. So, and even getting down to the end of the season, as he starts reminding us, eliminate distractions for the next couple of weeks. Like everything, all the outside stuff's going to be there after March Madness. You can always go back to it. But he was like, the only thing you can't really shut out of your life is your faith, your family, and then obviously basketball. So keeping faith first, and then, your family and everybody around you that's in your corner that can help you and benefit you. I feel like he's done a good job at reminding us about that. And that's stuff that's big to me too. Like, my faith, I'm a Christian, so that's obviously big to me. And my family, I pretty much feel like, at times that's all you got, family. So.
Do families show up to your game?
Yeah, my dad doesn't miss a game. My mom's at all.
Even travel?
Oh, nah. He doesn't
Okay.
travel. But yeah, he will
Boy.
travel. So like, he's been to the Mississippi State game, the LSU game.
Wow.
So he'll travel to some away games, but he probably hadn't missed a home game since I've been here. My mom was living in Louisiana for a little bit, so she missed a couple, but nah, she's pretty much here. My sister's at my game. She just had a baby too, so the baby's at the game now. So my family's done a good job at been at all my games ever since I was little. So that's something that's pretty cool.
Can you tell me something about your faith journey that sticks out that's kind of helped you navigate a tough time?
Yeah, something about my faith journey. So probably just the transition between leaving obviously the home of your parents and coming to college. Being away for the first time, it might be tough to kind of it's almost the first time that you managing your own schedule, without somebody kind of helping
Buying
you
your own
out.
groceries.
Yeah, doing all that stuff. So I would say just when I first got here, it was tough to kind of, find time to devote that to my faith. But I feel like I did a good job at finding ways. Like I would participate in FCA on campus, whether it be just like 15, 20 minutes, like just doing that, or even something that's important and unique to me that I really enjoy is we have our own team, like team devotionals together. So like
And that's Coach Beard implemented?
no, Coach Beard has nothing to do with it. Sometimes he'll stop by too, so because he's a Christian obviously, so he'll stop by. But this isn't even like one of those deals where you say Coach is saying, hey,
read your Bible.
read your Bible. Hey, we got team devotional later. Like, nah, it's not that. This is like player led. Like, we might have 6 or 7 players get together and say, hey man, let's come together and we're gonna talk about our faith for 20, 30 minutes. And obviously we got people on staff that are Christians too that kind of help facilitate it too, whatever we need. So that's kind of something that I feel like has been good, as far as like to provide some balance to the team and just keep us level headed.
Absolutely. I think it's kind of maybe understated sometimes how much faith plays a part in the mental stability
Right.
of a basketball team. Not saying if you don't believe in Jesus, you're not going to play good basketball.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I'm saying as the season's this,
Yeah,
and you're supposed to stay
you need something to lean back on, man. It just keeps you, kind of in line, and you have to have a strong faith in something you really believe in, to just kind of, remember what's important. Because at the end of the day, this is just entertainment. It's just basketball, but that's the rest of your eternity, which is with Jesus Christ. So it can be easy to kind of get distracted or forget about it from time to time, but you have to do your best to kind of stay on top of things like that.
Absolutely. What's been one thing that's really maybe brought you closer to the Lord? Because I feel like everybody can say that they veered away from the Lord and they kind of been brought back.
Right. One thing I'll probably say, let's see. One thing, okay, so yeah, this one scenario that maybe kind of, brought
Reel it
me
back
back
in.
to it. Probably just like, so, just going from high school to college, where like obviously high school, pretty much everybody that's playing in college was probably the man on their high school team. So all the attention, all the, stress or whatever, just like the workload, you're the man. So everything's going through you. And then that you get to college for the first time and you might not be playing, and maybe you feel like that attention's not on you no more. And so just kind of catching myself fiending for that and recognizing it and identifying that with myself kind of put me in a space, and it's like, man, why do I even care about that? Like, they're the only people's opinion that might matter is just, faith and family. Come back to that. So just like, as long as I'm doing what God has put me in position to do, it keeps you happy, man. It keeps the stress from creeping in. Like, it makes you feel fulfilled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's an NBA player that you really like to look up to, or a team that you like?
So LeBron's actually probably my favorite player. But I watch a good amount of players. I like Steph Curry. I like Kyrie Irving. I like his game a lot. But, a big fan of some younger guys too, like Ja Morant, So if I identify with a favorite team, I would probably claim the Grizzlies just because they're the closest to me, and that's the team I've been to the most games, I believe. So probably the Grizzlies. I like the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Ja Morant's not too bad.
Yep.
You said LeBron James
Yep.
already, so he's on the Lakers. Now you got Luka there.
Hmm.
You don't have to elaborate on it, but I got to talk about it, man.
Dallas guy.
Dallas guy. That Luka trade.
Insane. I thought it was fake when I first saw it. I sent it. I think I might have been the first person to drop it in the team group chat, and I sent it to everybody like fake, 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 and I'm like, nah, man, this is Shams reporting this, man. It's not fake. So that was insane just to see. But I'm interested to see like what they do in the playoffs, with this opportunity, and I'm also interested to see what Dallas continues to do. Obviously, Kyrie they just lost Kyrie, and losing Luka, so obviously that probably kills.
Little morale.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see what the Lakers, do with what they've been given.
Absolutely. Just kind of jumping around. What one team are you kind of looking forward to in the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament?
One team to see
ready?
play.
I'm ready to see that team. I want the smoke.
One team, I would say one team that I would say I'm ready to see play in March. I ain't gonna lie. This probably be a wild one too. But I'm gonna probably go McNeese State. I don't know if y'all seen the manager from McNeese State go viral lately. Nah. So he's a manager. He's not hooping, but he like leads the team out. He carries like the speaker. He's like a vibe check guy. You should look into him.
Yeah.
He's an interesting dude. So I hope that they win their conference tournament and can make it to the tournament. Just because I know that could be a big story if they get in the tournament. Them. And obviously us. I hope we get in the tournament. I think we can have a big run in the tournament and be really, really exciting just to go do some things that Ole Miss hasn't done before. But one team that I would say could be an exciting game if we played, man, I'm gonna have to go Texas A&M, man, just because where they're at right now, obviously being like a top 10 to 15 team. But just because how the game ended when we played them. So I don't know if you know, but the Texas A&M game here, this is a couple weeks back, we had a lead by 10 with we're up 10 with like 2 minutes to go and just crumbled at the end, had some turnovers. They hit some crazy shots. And the last possession, we went from up 10 with 2 minutes, and now we're up like 1 with a couple seconds, and they get the ball and basically just come down and hit a deep three, and just kind of walk off on our home court too. So that'd be a game that I think could be really exciting if we got a chance to see them again.
Oh, I like that. I think that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Now you would think I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, but really I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. So I'm gonna ask some Kobe questions.
Yep.
If Kobe were on this Ole Miss team,
the tournament would already be won.
Yeah,
just not even talent wise, just his mentality. Like a lot of the things that Beard pumps into the program is Kobe Bryant. Like around Kobe, like we're always watching Kobe Bryant videos. Just he tries to get us to buy into his mentality. So yeah, Kobe Bryant.
How do you think Kobe would approach the SEC tournament?
I think he'd approach it with that Mamba mentality, like no social media, no distractions. I'll get back to everything at the end. Nothing matters right now except winning a championship. I think that's how Kobe Bryant would approach it.
Absolutely. If you could pick one Kobe moment that embodies greatness, which one would it be?
I would say his last game, probably, because that was one of the games I actually watched live on TV. I can remember watching at home with my dad. Obviously, he scored a lot. I don't remember how many. Yeah, 60, the 60-point game. He scored a ton that game. But that was just like the best send-off, I kind of think, about Kobe Bryant. Like, it felt good. And then it was incredible to still, like, how's he still able to go out there through the injuries? Obviously, he had torn his Achilles before, and he's obviously getting old. So it's like, man, how does a guy like that with that body even go out there and still score 60? So that'd probably be a Kobe moment where I just say, like, he went out and kind of said, like, Mamba out, So that'd be a moment.
For sure, my favorite Kobe Bryant moment was when he tore his Achilles and sank the 2 free throws.
Right, yep.
That says everything about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who tears their Achilles and walks off court?
No doubt.
One, because I know if I did it,
You grabbing that leg, man.
Bro, I'm
like you can't even walk without your Achilles.
Yeah, so I think that's just super huge. Let's see. So it seems like sometimes you are the spark on the team. How do you keep that energy going into it?
I say I constantly try to remind myself because I feel like you can look around the country and a lot of guys that aren't getting minutes, like
They just look down.
yeah, like they just kind of get lost and they're just kind of along for the ride. But like I try to remind myself every day, like how am I gonna help us win? Like if I
Right.
might not get in this game, but like I gotta do something to help us. So like there's so much that goes on in a game that can negatively affect the energy of the team, whether it's like a scoring drought, like or something, a couple bad plays happen.
And there's nothing worse than having like some dude who is not getting minutes try to be all sour and pissed off.
Yeah.
Right?
So I like to be the guy like maybe if something's going on like on the court that maybe not so good or even when things are going well, like I always want my teammates to look over there after something's happened in there and just kind of see the energy that I have over there.
Yeah.
So maybe when they see that, they snap back into that mode and they're like, now I got myself back together.
For sure.
So that's kind of I just kind of try to tell myself, hey, do your job, man. That's kind of what it is.
What's been your favorite moment whenever you're able to get on court?
Obviously the game. Well, this year the game I scored when I came in and scored. I can't remember who we were playing. Maybe LIU, but that was probably one of my obviously the most memorable moments. Obviously the we want Cam chance before.
Just fired you up.
Just that fired me up, and it was the first game of the season too. So like, leading up to that, me and my teammates were talking in practice. They were like, "Man, like you gotta." Even Beer was telling. He was like, "You gonna score this? Like you're gonna score early this year." So I'm like, "All right." And then so
Man of his word.
when I got in, and even the whole build up to it, like the crowd was chanting my name like for a long time, and just trying to get myself mentally prepared to come in. What a lot of people don't realize is like, man, let's say a game's like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Like, man, it's hard to come in a game when you've been sitting down for 2 hours and score. That's probably the tough thing that people don't realize. Like, the easy part is when you start a starter and you in there and are you in rhythm and you've been out there, you've been running up and down the court for 10 minutes.
Got a couple.
So you already warm. You should be able to hit shots. But when you've been on that bench for the whole game and you talking about, I got to come in here after I've been sitting down for 2 hours, the whole crowd chanting my name. So now the attention is on me. I'm already 5'3", so they don't want me to score. So now the other coach on the other team is like, pick up the pressure, don't let them score. So like, man, it's really, really difficult. So that would probably be a moment. And then another moment I could think back to was last year against Texas A&M. It was a game. This is a game a lot of people probably don't know, but I actually played like 7 minutes that game because we were down early in the game, and Coach Beard just kind of threw me in there just to kind of get out there, and he just wanted some different energy out there. So I played a whole lot that game, and he eventually took me to the press conference after I had the press conference with him. So that was a moment too that was big for me. But just coming in, impacting. I think I came in. I hit 2 free throws. I think I had an assist. I had a steal. So it was like, man, I got out there, and I was just able to do stuff against. It's like, man, that's Texas A&M. Like, I remember one time I always think back to when I first checked in. I was guarding Wade Taylor in the corner, and obviously everybody know. I'm like, man, this Wade Taylor, and I'm over there talking to him and stuff. And me and him were joking around and stuff before the ball actually got in play. And he was like, man, your dad must be on staff or something. He was like, man, what's going on? Why you out here? And then we were just talking about that and laughing about it. But yeah, it was cool to just be able to be out there against like guys that I was, even watching before I was in college, or guys that might play in the NBA, or these are guys that are college All-Americans. So just getting in the game and doing stuff and having my name on the stat sheet, getting assists, getting a steal, hitting a free throw in the same game that they're in was something that was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing for the NCAA and you're a D1 athlete. That's elite. That's a 1%er type thing. Like,
right.
You only get to do it, Is there anything that you want to say to Ole Miss? Like, if Ole Miss or the student body or your team were to see this, maybe a thank you, anything, like, this is your time.
Yep, no doubt. So, first of all, just like to the coaches that helped me get here, like the route I took to get here was actually incredible. So, and it was pretty unique. Like I wasn't a guy that was, that was even on Ole Miss's radar. Like I had pretty good name around the state just because I was one of the top players, in the state and around my area and stuff. Um, but just like to the coaches that helped me get here, like obviously Coach Kermit Davis extending the opportunity for me to come after my state championship run was big to me. Forever grateful for him to helping me get here. And then just a thank you to Coach Beard too. Once he got here, bringing me in, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to be offered, an opportunity to remain, because a lot of times when you see coaching changes, the roster turns over. So, just be super appreciative of Coach. I always tell him, like, man, you changed my life with this. Like, with this opportunity, you don't even know. So just him, those coaches and the assistant coaches, every assistant coaches I've had has poured into me. The trainers, whether it's managers, everybody just in the facility helping, everybody just really appreciative academically. And the fans too, man, the fan base. Like, I don't know if there's too many, walk-ons around the country, they can say, man, that fan base really, really embraced me. Like, I get so many messages that I can't even respond to some of them sometimes, just like fans or like kids or anybody like DMing me, let me know, how much they appreciate me or they're a fan or whatever. But just like the genuine support, appreciation, man, I know I'll never forget that. So I'm just really appreciative of just the university as a whole.
Yeah, I think your journey is incredible. Is there anything that you can speak on about? I'm going to rephrase it. People who are looking at Ole Miss and are being currently recruited by Ole Miss, or they're thinking about coming here and playing sports. What is something that you would tell them that you either wish you knew or that you want them to hear? Like, every recruit needs to hear this.
Yep. So the first thing I'll say is, if you don't want to come to Ole Miss, don't take a visit, because if you take a visit, you're coming. So that's one thing I learned that early on too. And then Coach Beard has allowed me, just through my personality, to be around a lot of recruits when they come, like getting a chance to speak to them and maybe go out and have dinner with them, or just spend some time with the recruits. So that's one thing I say. If you don't want to come, don't take a visit. But other than that, man, just know what you're getting into, man. Like, if you're coming here, you're gonna get a fan base that's gonna support you around the clock, man. Well, not just on the court. Like, you're gonna have their support around the city, man. Wherever you at, you're gonna feel the love. And I don't know if there's too many other places where you just feel that kind of love, like, around the clock, man. So that's one thing I would say to recruits that are looking at Ole Miss, man. Like, from the facilities, all that other stuff that comes with it, but just, man, the genuine love you're gonna feel from the people when you get here, you'll remember that well if you do make that decision.
Absolutely. I think we kind of been chatting over the phone, and maybe people are like, how the heck did this even
no
happen?
doubt.
I think I shot you a message in the middle of the summer, or maybe you shot me, I don't know. And finally we're here full circle. What's one thing that you can say about Now It's Legal podcast and why you chose to, pick my pod to come on, man? I'm really grateful for it.
So the first thing was just the professionalism. Like, honestly, like, I've been reached out to by a lot of podcasts, but then I check it out. I mean, when I checked yours out, like, just the legitimateness of it, the Instagram clippings, all that type of stuff, like, really, really, really stood out. And just, like, how clear the visuals were, how, whether it's captions on it or just other graphics that you might pop or flash on, just, like, how detailed it was something that really, really stuck with me and made me want to do it. And just the content, just, like, the relativeness of what you're, like, doing, obviously, with, like, NIL and everything else around college right now. Just the topic of your conversation was something that was so relevant to me. So that's why I was like, man, this is the go-to podcast right here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And dude, I so appreciate you,
no doubt.
like, coming on, bro. Like, this is very surreal for me. Went here for 2 years, and so to come back 5 years later, I get to rock it out with you. It's just like, what a blessing. Like, look what God did.
Yeah, no
doubt. Before we wrap up, I want to hear a little bit about that state championship run.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to talk about it.
Even if we go on a run in March Madness, I'll never forget that high school state championship run. But man, it was just crazy too, cause like my high school had never really like, it wasn't known for like basketball. Like we had a good football team. We had a lot of players actually go play college. I don't know if you remember Jerry and Ely that came to Ole Miss and was a good, pretty good football player.
Yeah.
Spent some time with the Chiefs, won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs a couple years ago. So kind of going to, and even when I picked my high school, like it wasn't like a lot of people were questioning it, like, because obviously I was a good player in the city. They were like, man, why are you going there? And so like it was kind of like the same thing with Ole Miss too. So like I felt like the love of the people around the school. So just picking that school, my coach Tim Wise, who was really good, and really helped me become the player I am today. Like just the discipline factor that he had within the program was something that stuck out to my dad. And at the time I didn't realize it, but it really made sense in the end. And it comes back to that championship run, like, man, it's all kinds of stuff like that I had that year. Like I broke a record that year. I don't know if it's still standing, but it probably is. But I'm actually tied with Monte Ellis, who played with the Warriors. He was like a 12-year NBA veteran.
Yeah, I know.
So
Monte
yeah, a lot of people
Ellis.
don't. Me and Monte Ellis are tied for the Mississippi single game 3-point record. So I hit 12 threes in one game. I think I finished with like 44 or 45 points.
What?
And so that was something big that happened to me that year. And I was emotionally attached to that game too, because they had a kid that was committed to Ole Miss, Jacob Gazzo, who I got to play with last year. He's actually my guy to this day. Gazzo's a good dude. So he was a really good player. So that, and then leading up to, at the end of the year, just the gauntlet we had to go through, and like our league was tough. Like Josh Hubbard was somebody that we had to go through to get there. And people see what he's doing at Mississippi State now. Like he's a
Killer.
Borderline All-American. Like he'll probably be the best point guard in the SEC if he returns next year and doesn't go to the NBA draft. So just the excitement of that, and just rallying together with the guys that I was with for 4 years and never won a state championship, finally winning it that last year, because Hubbard beat me every time. So finally getting it that last year was like something that really meant, like, it was like a test of the hard work. So that was really good, just to kind of get a high school state championship and get a ring. So that felt good.
I mean, you kind of got it all in the last little ending.
Yeah.
12 threes, beating Monte Ellis'
Yeah.
3-point. Or you're tied with him.
Yeah, tied with him.
To be tied with a guy like Monte Ellis.
Yeah, that's that's something I'll probably tell. If hopefully nobody break the record, but that's something I can tell my kids about.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think, God didn't give me athletic ability probably because I couldn't handle it. Like, if I were to make anything in an SEC game, it would be on the TV on repeat, man. If I were to make 2 threes in a game, I think I'd be like, hey, y'all check this out. At any given time, I'm going to pull out my phone. You know that meme when those when they're trying to impress girls and they bring out like the high school highlights? That would be me, bro.
Check out my huddle.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm so glad that's not me though. You know what? One a record that I'm tied for.
Let's hear it.
Nothing.
We're gonna have to set the record for the longest podcast one day.
Yeah.
We're gonna go for that.
No, hey, we're here. We're rocking it. One more thing, and then we'll cut off. Life after ball, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself life after ball? You're super interested in the NIL. You're super interested in ball. Mm-hmm. Where do you see this going? What relationships have you created to do this?
As of right now, I'm just kind of trying to be where my feet at. That's what this whole season has been about, just trying to be where my feet at. Enjoying this last month as we approach of March Madness. Just kind of not really saying I don't know where things are headed, but just kind of figuring it out. I think I'm going to take the next year just to kind of, see some, evaluate some things. Obviously, I've expressed some interest in potentially, being an NBA agent or an NFL agent one day. So maybe that might be waiting for me, a couple years down the line. Or, obviously just giving back to the game that's given so much to me in basketball, whether it's skill development, training, youth training, or even being on staff, with Coach Beard here at Ole Miss. There's a lot of things, that are in the works that I think will be pretty exciting for me, waiting on here for me in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. Here we got Cam Brent, shortest guy in the NCAA D1 history, Ole Miss history.
Yep.
Cam, I appreciate you coming on Now It's Legal podcast. If you got anything else that you want to tell the viewers that you haven't been able to say